Hello and welcome to round 2. I sure would like to play first. How did you know? This seems like a pretty good start, so I'll keep it. Just so they're not thinking about werewolves, we're going to go ahead and run out that island. Doesn't matter much, but maybe if they've got like a shard of broken glass or something that they might want to play, or like a sinister concoction, they'll play it and not be ready for Jenny Loggins. Like, I suppose if they're going to use that to kill her, then that makes sense, but the fact that they just ran it out means if they don't have another 2-drop, they're kind of priced into doing it. Alright, you did the thing. We lost our boy. I'm going to run with the Skinner first. Although, yeah, I think I still have to. I don't want to make a giant mangler. So that doesn't do anything if it's in the graveyard, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Like, they can macabre waltz it back. They're going to puncturing light this, which is great. It sets up for Bob next turn to get through. And if they don't have it, so much the better. Because Bob wants to attack. He is inexorable. Inexorable? Inexorable. Inexorable. That's what it is. It's inexorable, Bob. Rabble, rabble. Words are hard. Alright, we got Kibblard. Again, puncturing light could be a thing that they have in their cards that they have. But as long as they're answering our stuff and we're hitting them in the face, we're good with that. Because they're kind of committing to killing everything that we have. I see what you did there. There's not a real reason to mangle that, other than it lets us start attacking. So even though I'd like Jace's Scrutiny is a perfect opportunity here, why not just develop our board while hitting them in the face? Like, how many Stitch Manglers is too many? I don't know. I'm happy to race. Because I think they'll still hold Home Slice back to block. Could be wrong. Ah, the mob. It is unruly. I've never really been super scared of an unruly mob. This could be the one scenario where it's a problem, though. We will see. Well, I guess I can make my own unruly mob. So what happens if I just clone another Mangler here and tap that down and swing with the team? They'll block this, and they can pretty easily go to 5 and not hate life. So I might want to save that for another day. That means we probably just swing with the team, get some Jace's Scrutiny value if we can, and get a Quilled Wolf going. I can get behind that. Like, there's no blocks here that I'm super upset about. So it does leave them with a giant mob, but we've got an additional Stitch Mangler in hand. And they're at 7. We literally have an additional Stitch Mangler in hand. So if I mangle this, for example, what happens? And then swing with the team. 2 things get in. It'll probably be 2 2-power dudes. Like, there's some incentive to just pass and let that happen, because it gets bigger. But like, I tap this down, I get in for 2, I tap something down next turn. Are they eating any of my dudes? Can they eat any of my dudes if I tap that down? They could double block this and take 6 going to 1. Then I still kill something at least. They could double block any of my other guys. They could just eat the Quilled Wolf, bounce this and go to 2. It still seems risky. I'm going to be a little greedy here and hit a land, because I'm not really sure if I want to flip that or just cast the Mangler, exactly what I want to do. I think Ghostly Wings puts me more in a mind to pass, let this get huge, and then Ghostly Wings it next turn. Like, they've only got 1 card in hand. And we could Wings and Mangler, and that's a pretty quick clock. I realize it would flip back the next turn, but we kind of only need that first hit with it. So I'll give him a turn. Because they think they're going to be blocking on the ground. But it doesn't matter. Sure. All that effort to get my pack flipped, and they just flipped it right back. What jerks. Alright, so probably Mangle a Flyer, Ghostly Wings Home Slice. It still doesn't work. But if I just want a 4-power thing that can attack in the air, let's do it with this guy. We're going to have to grind our way through these last 7 points of damage, but it's alright. Maybe they'll get cocky and attack with something too. I don't even know that it's cocky to do so now that they're back at 10 life. They think it is though. Alright. So I can Mangle and Ghostly Wings. So what happens if I Mangle this guy and Ghostly Wings this guy? They would have to gang block it, but I'm only killing one of their dudes. That is so bad. So if we're gonna go for the big ass monster, maybe what I want to do is flip this and then Altered Ego it and just have a giant one and Ghostly Wings that. I can attack pretty freely with this guy, especially if I'm going to flip. Would I trade this for anything that they have? I don't really like trading it there. It's not terrible, but like this whole combo is going to come back. Can Ghostly Wings and bounce their mob at some point? I do want to have the 6 mana though. I think we try to flip again. I'm not quite sure how we're going to get through for the last 10 points of damage, but I think it's going to start with a big ass werewolf. And like, if I Altered Ego it, they can't flip it back. Yeah, I mean, why not even make it bigger? This is turning off Ghostly Wings to bounce, but that's kind of okay. It's like now I just get the biggest thing there is. It can't be flipped back because that's how magic works. And we're going to give it flying here in just a minute. And it's going to be huge. This one I hold though for defense for the thing with the stuff. Like now we can bounce that guy and get more things back. It has to be this or they just start this loop of blocking forever. So at least we can get some dudes off the table here. The only thing I'm really kind of scared of is a Silver Strike because I'm not really sure what we do. Like we still get to keep our giant one of the pack, but Since I'm a clone, I'm only a wolf. Roar! Do you have a wrath? No, you don't have a wrath. Okay. Oh, sleep paralysis is such a good answer for this idiot. I think I'm going to attack here as well. And maybe even with the Thornhide Wolves. With the idea that they're planning on doing this shenanigans. And since we've got both of these out, let's hit what we can. They may be inclined to like do some sort of gang blocking and let us get rid of the mob. Which I think would be good. I don't have to sleep paralysis this turn, so it might have been worth playing the Quilled Wolf. I kind of just want to try to force in some damage. The Quilled Wolf can also block Home Slice if necessary. Yeah, so their whole plan is to get this big enough to be able to stop me. Throttle on him. Okay. I mean, that's not ideal, but sure. You got me. Yeah, I think that means, like, playing the sleep paralysis now has the benefit of the unruly mob. We don't have to deal with it next turn. But, like, I think this is their plan, so if we can get that out of there, we're probably good. Yeah, and he's killing all my big stuff anyway, so that doesn't matter. Should look and make sure they haven't milled or discarded anything relevant, but they kind of just haven't. I can't really F6 when I've got a Ghostly Wings on my own dude. But we should be able to put them to where they have to continue chomping here. I don't need 2 lands in hand. Alright, is there any way they can interact with that? It doesn't look like it. The mob's going to get big enough that it's a problem, but we should be okay just to ignore it for a while. If we can get them low enough that another Stitched Mangler would do it, we can also bounce this guy and do that. That's a real option. Okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I again feel like if they're dead weighting their own creature, it's probably pretty good for us. So are they dead to a mob? I gotta get in 6 damage, so if I bounce this guy and tap a dude, they can block 2 things. 1, 2. They'd take 2 and go to 4. I don't think I'm ready for it yet because they've got to chump again. And we could also draw Welcome to the Fold to get the skeleton out of the way. Like, we've got a lot of solid draws here. We do, of course, need to draw them, but like Welcome to the Fold on the Sanitarium skeleton would be great. At this point, do we continue to attack? Because attacking and getting them to do this, how much is this mana for them to do? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they can't recycle the whole thing in one turn. But like, we're eventually going to make this mob too big for us to deal with. I still think I'm supposed to attack with it. We just kind of need to hit one of the things that does stuff soon. I've got some interesting sideboard choices coming. Like this is 4, 5, so we can get a 6, 6. We can get 6 counters on this and copy something if we want to. And at some point we might. I guess their end game is to make this big enough and attach the thing to it. So we may actually have to stop attacking with that as a 9/9. Well, let's just see what a vessel has to say about that. So we've got Rabid Bite, which we can't take. We've got to take one of these things. I mean, I guess it's got to be the Tireless Tracker, which doesn't seem like a bad card to have in play. Delirium's on. I'll play it and crack the clue and see what we hit. Like, swarming them is an option. We've got to keep a card in hand to discard to the pack, though, in case we want to bounce it, which we might even want to do now. If I can get enough stuff down here, like they've got to chump again. If I can get enough stuff down here, I may be able to bounce it, copy a Mangler, and kill them. And they can't kill me with one hit of the mob. And if they attack with that, they're almost certainly dead. I think. Turns out I would like an Epitaph Golem about now. Or a Reckless Scholar. Something. Macabre Waltz, targeting Geist. Okay, they're just going to try to grind me out, I guess. They're going to grind me out and eventually have a giant unruly mob that kills me. So there's some neat things happening here. So what can I cast this for? I discard a card to plus this, which would be this obviously. And then I've got 10 mana. So I could discard this to bounce this guy and take their unruly mob. That's pretty exciting, and I have a clone in my hand. And that means I could basically swing with everything else and get in a good chunk of damage this turn. I think I like that. Now the only thing that gets me is if they have a pump spell. I don't think they do. I can do 10, right? Yeah, because I have 12. Yoinks. That's my unruly mob now. Things just got a little unruly. What they may or may not have noticed yet is that I'm just going to copy a Stitched Mangler next turn and tap whatever's still alive and kill them. Because they've got another Apothecary guy, so they'll be at 6. One of them chumps this, the other takes, and then they take 6. So they got to have something else here. Another mob. Okay. I don't need that giant a Stitched Mangler, so we can look for a clue first. It's a land. That's all right. Do I want to play the Censor this turn? It doesn't give anything trample, so it's not super relevant. Alright, they've had enough. They could have blocked there and chumped here, gone to 4, but then I think we untap with more stuff. So what's interesting here is they have a lot of stuff in their deck that's very weak to sleep paralysis. I think I'd like another. They also have, I think, an interesting weakness to Manic Scribe, and that they're looking to derp through their own deck pretty quick, not exerting a lot of pressure, and this is again something that can just kill them out of nowhere. So I think I like both of those as additions. What is not good here? Again, the Censor doesn't seem like it does much. I like this card a lot, but maybe this is just not the matchup for it. I don't know. They're pretty weak to bounce too, so maybe I even want to get this Just the Wind in here. Now remember, these count as creatures, so I can cut a little more on some other things here. The problem is if I can't cut instants if I want to actually hit Delirium. So I think that's going to leave Just the Wind out, as Sleep Paralysis handles a lot of the same things that it does. And I may not need the Manic Scribe. I can obviously still kill them anyway, but I might want it still. Just a matter of what do you cut for it. If I cut it, I'll get this Warped Landscape in there too. Like, they're mostly trying to kill us with flyers. That's the other option, is just bringing a bunch of Silent Observers. Like, we got out aggressive against them, but I don't think they can beat this. And Fold doesn't let us take most of their flyers. Yeah, they're a flyers deck. We just got off to a very aggressive start. I think I want these guys too. Like, the Sleep Paralysis is good at, like, getting a blocker out of the way. I may just need to run this back. I don't really have enough time to sort this out. Wolves are an okay attacker. I kind of want to do this. Oh god, I'm a monster. Don't judge me. I think I keep this on the draw. It's got a certain percentage to just win, and even just hitting another land is pretty darn good. I don't think I would keep it on the play. But I think if you mulligan 2 landers on the draw, you're probably just mulliganing too many hands. Provided you have, you know, something you can cast on turn 3 at the very least. Like, if we had a forest in hand, we'd be pretty happy now, because we could at least land the Quilled Wolf. It gets pretty rotten if we don't hit one now, but I mean, we're gonna hit one now. I think I like the Pacifist here. I kind of want another land before I get the Vessel going. It's just this does a lot of blocking, potentially causes some problems for our opponent. Tireless Tracker is interesting. Very interesting. I could run a naked Tireless Tracker out there, which I actually don't mind against this particular opponent. The other option is play the Mangler, tap that guy, get to attack with it next turn. I don't normally run out naked Tireless Trackers, but the removal they showed us was Kibler and Puncturing Light. As long as we don't attack with it unless they have mana down, this is like a solid game plan to get ahead of them. Because let's say they want to pass here. Cool, they're flipping the pacifist. They're just going to go straight up for dudes. Okay, I can get behind going straight up for dudes. This sucks. Alright, so I'm going to die in the air unless... what? Unless I'm willing to trade a tireless tracker for an apothecary geist. At this point, I probably am. It's spewing away value, but I need to just not die. So I would play the Mangler, tap that, attack with the tireless tracker, trade these, use the Welcome to the Fold eventually to get this. This feels so terrible, but I think it is one of the strengths of the tireless tracker. They may not even take the trade, so I could just tap this. Yeah, that's way better. Like, let's slow this down. Because then I can at least attack with the Mangler. I don't want to trade him for the Moorland Drifter. That just seems miserable. Alright, we got a land. Cool. What do we do with it? Well, eventually we make a big flyer. But I think what we do right now is cast Bob. Or, excuse me, is get the Vessel of Nascency down and maybe even tap that and swing here. Bob is so much better if I get Delirium because they've got to start interacting with it, but I kind of just need to not die. I'm not really racing them at 26, but... we can get a good hit in eventually. I've just got to find something to deal with all these flyers. Because they're slowly getting pecked to death. Okay, so it's not a ground game. So I think I like Altered Ego, making a giant apothecary geist. Like we get a 3/4 flyer, and that should stop most of their shenanigans. If they've got a removal spell, we're pretty unhappy. But at least we're still playing Magic. If they slam in, it means they likely have Puncturing Light, which we're scared of. Or I guess Throttle would do it. Yikes. That's a lot of damage. Alright, we last one turn if we Welcome to the Fold that. I'm going to pop our Vessel first and see if we hit something. Oh, we hit Delirium, yay. Kind of have to take this just so that we can do the blocking. We've got a free attack with one of these. I mean, it may matter if we're able to stabilize that we got in 2 points of damage. I was right though, they're actually just a Flyers deck. Didn't matter, we're just dead. And by the way, not due to that attack. They could have murderously compelled this, and it would have been just as good for them. Okay, so Flyers. I think that means I need to relax on the slow plan and just go ahead and get going with these Silent Observers, because they can't really do anything about it. And we can ditch a Mangler. This is a whole different deck we're bringing to the next game, but it's a deck I can get behind. You know what? This deck does want that though, because isn't this our winning? No, that's not our winning. Getting them to where they have to block. is our winning. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. Ah, Travis, you just submitted 41 cards. Lucky 41. We'll keep. It's a little soft, but it has aim high. I'm down with that. We'll see if the lucky 41 cards comes back to get me. I did not do that on purpose. It's secretly to beat their mill shenanigans, to make sure that we don't mill first. So we can kill that and make sure it's gone, but I kind of just like mangling it and hitting, because then next turn we can potentially just steal it and start attacking them with it if we want to. Now the U refers to controller, right? So if I attack with it, they can't really do anything. Although again, we could just take that and attack. I can kind of get behind that. It's a very aggressive line that we're looking at here. But I think it puts them in a position where their flyers are worse if they're having to look at blocking ground creatures with them. Yeah, we can jam right through all of this. We're going to have to Rabid Bite the zombie, right? Yeah. This is our entire hand. Like, we're now done with anything else. We are committed to these creatures winning the game for us. Which again is risky and very aggressive, but here we are. We've got a board state you don't. Can you summon a blocker? And if you do, can we not top deck a solution to it? Alright, so that's probably Puncturing Light. Can I beat Puncturing Light? The way to beat it would be to not attack with these guys, because if they Puncturing Light this, they get their thing back. Now, you know what? They had so many Murderous Compulsions, that could just as easily be what they're stuck with. I think you just send the team. If they're able to Puncturing Light a Cathar, great. We haven't seen Silver Strike in 2 very long games. Well, 1 very long game and 1 short one, but I don't think we lose by not attack. I don't think we win without attacking. Okay, yeah, throttle, sure. We could still get there. I don't like us not having any, like, action spells, but that's a pretty good one. So they've currently sort of got to, like, double block the Skinner or just take 4 and be dead to a combat trick. I would have been scared taking the 2, but I guess you've got to play to win, not play to not lose. The Skinner will get more valuable over time because the only thing we're missing in our graveyard is dudes. So they 100% have Puncturing Light here. So if I swing team, they've got some pretty bad blocks. If I just swing with these 2 and then play the Skinner, or the hunter will have delirium, and our guy just grows. So I think without Puncturing Light, they've just got awful blocks, and even with it, they don't have great ones. So I'm going to send in the clowns. They could also have the lifelink spell. This still puts us in a position to trade. I guess the one thing we don't beat is Descend Upon the Sinful. So do you want to just pass and then have 2 lethal attackers next turn? Yeah, I think I'm actually okay with that. All right, cool. See you for the finals in just a moment.